Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing HFY stories. Hit the bell icon to get notified about our latest uploads. The aftermath of victory. The arena is filled with a strange silence as Adam stands victorious over his opponent, the once mighty alien warlord now kneeling in defeat. His energy mace lies discarded on the ground, the weapon's humming vibrations now a faint echo as the crowd processes the unexpected turn of events. Adam's chest rises and falls with steady breaths, his posture still unyielding as the warlord stumbles away, humiliated. For a brief moment, everything is still, then the arena erupts into chaotic applause, a mix of shock, admiration, and confusion. The alien spectators had expected a quick, one-sided victory, but Adam had delivered something they hadn't anticipated, an impossible outcome. The alien lady's shock, the group of beautiful alien women, who had been laughing and mocking Adam just moments ago, are now silent. Zyra, the leader, watches the human warrior with a tight frown, her previous confidence in her superiority evaporating like mist in the heat of the arena. She exchanges a glance with her companions, and they all share a fleeting moment of doubt. Adam had not just won, he had done so with effortless grace. The way he moved, so fluid, so precise, was not the typical clumsiness or rawness of a human fighter. "We misjudged him," murmurs Vea, a slender alien with luminous silver skin and an air of quiet elegance. Her voice betrays a flicker of uncertainty. "There's something about him, something different." Zyra narrows her eyes, refusing to acknowledge the possibility that a human could possess such skill. "It's a fluke," she mutters, though even to her own ears, the words sound weak. The next match will prove his weakness. Yet deep down, Zyra knows that her confidence is fragile. There was more to this human than she had ever expected. She had underestimated him, but that was a mistake she would not make again. Adam's unfazed confidence. Adam, meanwhile, remains unfazed by the attention his victory has drawn. His calm, almost detached demeanor continues to confuse his alien observers. He doesn't show pride in his win, nor does he gloat, he simply waits for the next round, his face a study in quiet determination. The arena organizers, still recovering from the shock of the battle's outcome, announce the next match. Adam is to face another opponent, this one a member of a race known for their brutal and savage fighting style, a beast-like species that thrives on sheer physical strength and ferocity. As Adam prepares for his next battle, he can feel the subtle shift in the atmosphere. The alien women are watching him now, not with disdain, but with curiosity. Zyra especially seems intrigued, her eyes tracing his every movement, analyzing him as if trying to discern the secrets that lie beneath his calm exterior. The next challenge, the new opponent enters the ring, a massive, hulking figure that looms over Adam. His species, known as the Vorok, is famous for their raw power and their primal, bestial nature. Covered in thick, dark fur and with claws like knives, the Vorok are feared across the galaxy for their ruthless fighting techniques. This warrior, Krogar, is one of the fiercest fighters in the tournament, and the alien crowd expects a brutal end to the humans' improbable winning streak. Krogar roars, a guttural sound that shakes the arena, and charges forward with terrifying speed, despite his massive frame. His claws tear into the ground as he leaps, his eyes burning with the thrill of the hunt. The crowd goes wild, eager to witness the human's demise. But once again, Adam stands his ground. He watches the charging beast approach, unfazed by the sheer size and ferocity of his foe. His sword is raised, not in an offensive stance, but in a calm, almost meditative way. Zyra's growing fascination. From the sidelines, Zyra watches, her breath catching as Adam faces his opponent. For the first time, she senses something she hadn't before, a deep, primal energy radiating from the human. It's almost as if he is tapping into some hidden well of power, something beyond physical strength, beyond skill. She had seen hundreds of fighters before, many of them skilled beyond measure, but none of them had ever exuded this kind of quiet confidence. Vea, noticing Zyra's intense gaze, leans in and whispers, "What are you thinking?" "This, human." Zyra hesitates, then speaks, her voice tinged with an unexpected caution. He's not like the others. There's something different about him. I don't know what it is, but we've made a grave mistake in underestimating him. The fight begins with Krogar leaping into the air, his claws slashing through the space where Adam stood just moments before. But Adam is already gone, his body moving faster than the eye can follow. He doesn't charge in to meet the beast head-on like most would, instead, he sidesteps with fluid precision, using the momentum of his opponent's attack against him. Krogar crashes into the ground, snarling in frustration. Adam's next move is swift, he takes advantage of the Voric's disorientation, darting in and landing a precise strike to Krogar's exposed side. The blow isn't a fatal one, but it's enough to knock the wind out of the Voric and send him stumbling backward. The crowd gasps. Again, Adam does not overexert himself, he remains cool, patient, as if he's testing his opponent, waiting for the right moment to strike. Zyra leans forward, her eyes locked on the human. He's toying with him, she murmurs, a mix of awe and frustration in her voice. Cliffhanger for Part 2, the battle reaches a boiling point as Adam begins to methodically break down his opponent, always staying one step ahead of Krogar's brute strength. However, just as it seems Adam will take victory once more, the Voric's savage instincts kick in. Krogar's eyes glow with a sudden, frightening intensity as he begins to draw on his hidden reserves of strength. With a blood-curdling roar, he surges forward, more vicious and dangerous than ever before. Adam tightens his grip on his sword, preparing for the final confrontation. But this time, something feels different. Zyra, watching from the sidelines, feels a flicker of unease. The battle has only just begun, and the true nature of the human warrior has yet to be revealed. The arena's tension, the atmosphere in the arena is thick with anticipation. The audience is on the edge of their seats as Adam faces the towering Voric warrior, Krogar, who now seems to have shaken off his initial confusion. His massive form ripples with primal power, and his glowing eyes reflect a fierce, animalistic rage. It's clear now that this fight won't be won through technique alone, Adam will need to confront the beast that Krogar has unleashed within himself. Adam stands calm, his sword held loosely at his side. His stance is relaxed, the picture of patience, as if the chaos of the arena could be ignored entirely. His eyes meet the Voric's with an unspoken understanding, this is not a fight about strength, but about control. Zyra, still watching intently, feels a strange twinge of dread in her chest. Something about Adam's stillness unsettles her. She has seen many great warriors, some stronger than Krogar, but none had ever exuded this particular kind of calm in the face of certain destruction. This human, Vea murmurs next to her, her voice tinged with awe. How can he remain so unaffected? Krogar is one of the fiercest fighters in the galaxy. Zyra doesn't answer immediately. Instead, her eyes narrow as she watches Adam once again sidestep Krogar's reckless charge. The Voric's fury seems to increase with each failed attack, and Adam continues to evade him with the grace of a dancer. The crowd is on its feet now, their cheers becoming louder with every move Adam makes. But Zyra's mind is racing. She doesn't understand. There's no way a human should be able to move this fast, this efficiently. It's almost as if he's anticipating every attack before it happens. And the way he moves, there's no sign of exertion, no waste of energy. Just an economy of motion that speaks of something far deeper than just physical prowess. Krogar's final fury, Krogar lets out a deafening roar, his primal instincts fully awakened. His claws are outstretched, his body a blur as he launches himself at Adam with renewed determination. He's fast, faster than before, fueled by the madness of his animal-like nature. The ground shakes with each of his thunderous steps as he moves in for a final, all-out attack. Adam waits. Just before Krogar strikes, Adam shifts his weight to one side, and with a movement that is nearly too fast for the eye to follow, he parries the Voric's claws with his sword, deflecting the blow just enough to avoid being hit. The crowd gasps in disbelief, Adam didn't just block the attack, he redirected it, using the Vorac's momentum against him. Krogar stumbles forward, off balance. It's a critical opening. Adam moves in, his sword flashing like a streak of silver in the arena's harsh light. With a clean, precise strike, he disarms Krogar, sending the Vorac's claws flying through the air and landing with a metallic clink on the ground. For a moment, the arena is silent. Adam stands poised, his sword still raised but now aimed at Krogar's chest. The Vorac looks down, his breath coming in ragged gasps as he realizes the fight is over. His primal rage, now spent, is replaced by something akin to confusion. He is no longer the predator, he is the prey. The alien woman's growing awe, Zyra watches as Adam stands over the defeated Krogar. This time, she does not look away. The smirk that had once been her trademark is gone. She cannot shake the feeling that Adam has just revealed something beyond her understanding. Vea, her voice barely a whisper, leans closer to Zyra. Is it possible he's not human? Could he be some kind of hybrid, perhaps? Zyra doesn't answer. Instead, she stares at Adam, her mind grappling with the implications. Could it be that this seemingly weak human holds secrets far beyond what they've seen? What had once been a source of mockery is now a dangerous enigma. A human had just taken down one of the most ferocious warriors in the galaxy, with no more effort than it would take to swat an insect. As the audience erupts into applause, Adam does not seem to revel in his victory. He lowers his sword, his expression unreadable, before turning and walking off the arena floor. It's a move that both frustrates and fascinates the alien women. How could he not take pride in such an overwhelming victory? A dangerous revelation. Back in the shadows of the arena, Adam's movements slow, his eyes narrowing as he senses something. He'd expected this next challenge, but he hadn't anticipated the feeling creeping up his spine, the unmistakable sensation of being watched. Behind him, in the upper tier of the arena, the alien women, particularly Zyra, are watching him, their gazes filled with something new. Something that Adam recognizes. It's not just curiosity anymore. There's fear. And that fear, Adam knows, has little to do with his sword or his skill. It's something deeper, something inherent in the way he moves, the way his very presence seems to unsettle those who have never known true vulnerability. For the first time, Adam feels the weight of his true power beginning to stir within him, a power he has kept hidden for years, dormant like a sleeping beast. He continues his walk off the arena floor, but his mind begins to work in overdrive. He has to be careful now. The moment he unleashes his full strength, there will be no going back. The alien women will no longer see him as a mere competitor, they will see him as a threat. And they will come for him. Zyra's dilemma. Zyra watches Adam leave, her brow furrowing. Her initial assumption about humanity, that they were weak and easily conquered, has crumbled with every passing moment. The human warrior has proven himself to be something far more dangerous than she had ever imagined. Are we making a mistake, Zyra? Vea asks, her voice laced with a tinge of concern. This human, he's not like any other we've faced. He's different. Zyra hesitates. Her instincts tell her to eliminate the threat now, while it is still manageable. But something holds her back, something about Adam's strength. It feels unnatural. He's not just strong, Vea, Zyra says softly, almost to herself. He's something else. And we don't know what that is yet. Cliffhanger for Part 3. As Adam exits the arena and disappears into the corridors beyond, Zyra's mind spins. A nagging question keeps echoing in her thoughts. What if this human warrior is not just an anomaly? What if he is a force that even we cannot control? In the shadows, Adam's power pulses like a hidden storm, barely contained. But with each passing moment, the pressure builds. He knows the alien women are watching. He knows they are beginning to fear him. And that fear is only the beginning. The hallway aftermath. Adam walks down the narrow, dimly lit hallway that leads away from the arena. His footsteps are silent, as if he's become one with the shadows around him. His mind is calm, but beneath the surface, a slow simmer of energy begins to rise. He had won again, but something felt different this time. Something had shifted, both in the arena and in the alien women watching him. Their fear was tangible, and that fear was no longer about his physical prowess, it was something deeper, something more elemental. As he passes a row of alien guards, each towering and armored, Adam doesn't give them a second glance. His victory over Krogar had been decisive, but it had also been a warning to anyone who might think him just another weak human. Adam knew he was playing a dangerous game, concealing his full strength while the aliens remained unaware of what he could truly do. He had no intention of revealing everything all at once, but the longer he stayed in this arena, the harder it would be to keep his secret hidden. A small voice at the back of his mind tells him to leave. To walk away before the alien women realize the full extent of his potential. But Adam shakes his head. He's come too far. This battle isn't just for survival anymore. It's for something more, something personal. And perhaps, if things go well, it might be the last time humanity is underestimated. Zyra's unsettling realization. In the VIP section of the arena, Zyra paces in agitation, her sleek form cutting through the luxurious lounge space with an intensity that matches her thoughts. She can't stop thinking about Adam, the human warrior who had defied every expectation. He should have been no match for Krogar, but instead, he had made a mockery of the Vorik warrior. It wasn't just skill. It was something else, something unquantifiable, something that pulsed from Adam like an undercurrent of raw power. I told you, Vea says softly, leaning back in her chair, her silver skin catching the light. There's something about him. He's not just a fighter. He's something more. Zyra stops pacing, her sharp gaze focusing on Vea. And what exactly does that mean, she demands. We've faced countless species, trained under the most rigorous combat protocols in the galaxy. But this human, he's something else entirely. Vea shrugs, her expression unreadable. Whatever he is, he's not like the rest. His fighting style, his control, his composure in the face of overwhelming odds, he's more than just physical strength. Zyra considers this. She's had enough experience with warriors to know when someone is hiding something. And Adam was hiding something. His sword, his movements, everything about him spoke of a discipline and power that went beyond anything she'd ever encountered in humans. I'll find out what he's hiding, Zyra says with quiet determination, a dark glint in her eyes. If we're going to control this tournament, we need to know exactly what we're dealing with. I need him to show his full strength. He won't be able to hide forever. The next challenge, back in the arena, the next match is about to begin. Adam has already heard the whispers from the crowd, the once jovial mockery has transformed into an air of suspense. The alien women, particularly Zyra, are no longer laughing. They're watching him with sharp, calculating eyes. The next opponent is no less dangerous than the last, but Adam senses that this time, the challenge will be different. As the new combatant steps into the arena, Adam's gaze flickers toward him. This new fighter is Kthar, a member of an insectoid species renowned for their agility and speed. Kthar's long, segmented limbs and chitinous armor glint in the light as he hisses a challenge toward Adam. His claws are sharp, and his movements are almost too fast to follow. The alien women in the stands exchange glances, each of them wondering if this match will finally expose the limits of the human warrior. The odds are stacked heavily against Adam this time. The Kthar warriors are known for their lightning-fast strikes and their ability to predict their enemies' movements, something that could spell disaster for a fighter like Adam, who relies on evasion and precision rather than brute strength. Zyra's lips curl into a small, almost predatory smile as she watches Adam step into the arena once more. Let's see how long you can keep up this charade, she whispers to herself. The fight begins, the bell rings, and the battle is underway. Kthar wastes no time, his claws slash through the air with terrifying speed, cutting at Adam's exposed sides. But Adam is already moving, his body bending and shifting with an unnatural fluidity, his sword coming up in a deflection just in time to ward off the deadly strike. The audience gasps as Adam gracefully sidesteps the Kthar's next attack, his body almost flowing like water as he moves around the insectoid warrior's frantic slashes. The alien women, so confident moments ago, watch in stunned silence. Adam's speed is nothing short of incredible, he's moving faster than they thought possible. His sword dances in his hands, not just as a weapon, but as an extension of his body, responding to every move with terrifying accuracy. The Kthar hisses in frustration and changes tactics, lunging at Adam with a series of rapid, unpredictable strikes. But Adam, his focus as sharp as ever, remains one step ahead. He doesn't merely dodge, he reads Kthar's every move, anticipating his attacks before they even happen. It's as though Adam is in perfect sync with the battle, every motion deliberate, every step calculated. The hidden power awakens, as the fight rages on, Adam feels the stirring inside him, something deep within that has been waiting to be unleashed. He's been holding it back for too long. With each passing second, the pressure builds, the pulse of power within him rising like a flood threatening to break through its dam. And then, it happens. Adam's movements become even more fluid, more decisive. The air around him begins to hum with energy, a subtle vibration that the audience doesn't understand but can certainly feel. His eyes flash with a sudden intensity, and for the first time, he stops retreating. He steps forward. The next moment, Adam shifts into action with a speed that defies reason. He doesn't simply dodge, he becomes a blur of motion, a streak of light that leaves the Kthar reeling. Adam's sword arcs through the air with pinpoint precision, landing a strike that cleaves through the insectoid warrior's chitinous armor as if it were nothing more than paper. The Kthar lets out a shocked screech, falling to his knees in defeat. The crowd is silent. Even Zyra is speechless. The alien women realize, Zyra's heart races as she watches Adam stand victorious once again. But this time, it's different. There's something about his presence that shakes her to the core. The power he has just revealed, the power that had been hidden until now, is no longer just a fluke. This human is capable of feats beyond any warrior she has ever faced. Impossible, she mutters, her voice barely a whisper. No human should be able to do that. But Adam doesn't seem satisfied. He doesn't even acknowledge the crowd, instead turning to exit the arena with his usual calm demeanor. His victory is absolute, but he has revealed something far more dangerous than his opponents could ever have imagined. And as the alien women begin to exchange worried glances, Zyra knows one thing for certain, Adam is no longer just a competitor. He's a force that could bring their entire galaxy to its knees. Cliffhanger for Part 4, with his power now exposed, Adam is no longer a mere participant in the tournament, he is a weapon, one that the alien women must reckon with. As he disappears into the shadows, Zyra feels a shift in the air. The game has changed, and she is no longer certain of the outcome. The stakes have risen, and now, the true battle for control of the arena, and the fate of humanity, begins. The tension grows, the arena falls into an uneasy silence after Adam's decisive victory over Kthar. The alien women in the VIP section exchange tense glances, the realization of what they've just witnessed settling in. Zyra stands frozen for a moment, her piercing eyes fixed on the human warrior as he walks away. She's no longer certain of the plan she'd been crafting in her mind. Adam is not just a human, he's something else, something beyond their understanding. We've underestimated him, Vea murmurs, her voice laced with both admiration and concern. What he just did, we've never seen anything like it before. Zyra doesn't respond right away, her thoughts racing. She's seen countless warriors, alien and otherwise, but Adam has shown something different, something she can't explain. His speed, his precision, the way he almost anticipates his opponent's moves, it's as if he can read the battle, but that's not all. There's an aura around him, something primal and untamed, a force that radiates from deep within. He's no mere soldier, Zyra finally says, her voice colder now, tinged with uncertainty. We need to learn more about him. If he's hiding something, we'll find out what it is. Vea raises an eyebrow. You want to confront him? Zyra's gaze hardens. We don't have a choice. He's no longer just a pawn in our game. He's a potential threat to everything we've built here. Adam's internal struggle. Adam steps into the dimly lit hallway beyond the arena, his heart pounding in his chest. He's fought his way through two formidable opponents now, and the adrenaline is still coursing through his veins, but there's something else. Beneath it, something he's been suppressing for years. The power that he's been holding back has started to awaken. Each fight has been a test, and with each test, the pressure grows stronger, and more insistent. It's not just his strength that has increased, it's his awareness, his senses. He can feel the battlefield around him as if it's an extension of his own body. He can hear the faintest rustle of movement, and see the smallest shift in his opponent's posture before they even make a move. But with that power comes a price. A part of Adam knows that if he continues to unleash his strength, it will eventually consume him. The darkness within him, the primal force that has been buried for so long, is starting to take root again. He's fought this battle before, and he knows how it ends. But now, there's a new challenge, a challenge that calls to him. Zyra's proposition. Later that evening, Adam is summoned to a private meeting by Zyra. She's arranged it to take place in a secluded chamber, where they can speak without interruption. When Adam enters, he sees her sitting in the center of the room, her posture relaxed but her eyes sharp. A few other high-ranking officials are present, all watching him with cautious curiosity. I assume you know why you're here, Zyra says, her voice calm but carrying an underlying tension. You've been winning, quite impressively, I might add. But your victory over Kthar has raised questions. You've shown us a power that we didn't expect. And we want to understand it. Adam stands across from her, his expression unreadable. His instincts scream at him to be cautious, to remain silent. He's already revealed more than he intended. But Zyra is dangerous, and he knows that he can't afford to underestimate her. I don't know what you think you saw, Adam says coolly, but what you're asking is none of your business. Zyra leans forward, her voice is soft but insistent. You're not just a human, are you, Adam? You've shown us more than any other human could show. You're hiding something. And I don't like mysteries. Adam's jaw tightens, but he doesn't respond immediately. He knows she's right, he is hiding something. But how much is he willing to reveal? The truth is a dangerous thing, especially here. Why don't you just finish me off, then? Adam asks, his tone biting. If you want to know so badly, why not just eliminate me now? Zyra's lips curl into a smile, one that is equal parts predatory and calculating. Because you're too valuable. Your strength, your skills, they've become an asset. And I believe you can be useful to me. To us. The room falls silent, the weight of her words hanging in the air. Adam's eyes narrow. He's heard this kind of talk before. It's the way powerful beings get to others, by appealing to their desire for influence, control, or survival. But Adam has never been one to fall for empty promises. You think you can control me? Adam says, his voice hardening. You think you can use me like one of your pawns in a game? You're wrong. Zyra's gaze hardens as well, but she doesn't back down. Perhaps not. But there's something we both want. Something that, if we work together, could benefit us both. Adam stares at her, weighing his options. He knows that he can't afford to trust her, not completely. But the offer is tempting. They both know what's at stake here, even if they're not saying it outright. And Adam isn't stupid, he knows that the more he keeps hiding, the more he invites suspicion. The more dangerous this situation becomes. I'm listening, Adam says, his voice low and cautious. The proposition. Zyra stands and steps toward him, her eyes never leaving his. The galaxy is vast, Adam. There are forces at play here that neither of us can fully comprehend. But together, we could shape it. You have a power within you that could be used for more than just winning tournaments. Adam raises an eyebrow. Go on. You felt it, haven't you? The way the energy builds when you fight, when you unleash yourself. It's not just your skill. It's something deeper. Something ancient. Adam's stomach twists at the mention of the dark energy that stirs within him. He's been fighting it for years, and the thought of letting it loose again fills him with dread. But there's truth in her words. He does feel it, the surge of power that has become increasingly difficult to control. It's a power that could change everything. What do you want from me? Adam asks, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside. I want to help you, Zyra says, her voice soft but sincere. I can teach you how to harness it. Together, we can take on the forces that threaten us both. We can make you more than just a fighter, Adam. You could become something much greater. For a moment, Adam doesn't respond. His mind races, torn between his instincts to trust no one and the pull of the power she's offering to help him unlock. He knows the cost of this power. He's seen it before. But if he refuses her, he knows he's alone in this fight. He will have to face whatever is coming by himself. Give me time to think about it, Adam says finally, his voice quiet but resolute. I'll consider your offer. Zyra nods, her lips curling into a faint smile. Of course. But remember, Adam, time is something we don't have much of. You'll have to choose soon. Cliffhanger for Part 5, as Adam leaves the room, his mind is heavy with the weight of the decision that lies ahead. The power inside him is growing, and the path he takes now will determine not only his fate but the fate of those around him. The choice between accepting Zyra's offer, or continuing to fight alone, becomes ever more pressing. But one thing is certain, no matter what he decides, there will be no going back. The weight of the decision, Adam spends the night alone in his quarters, pacing back and forth, wrestling with the decision that Zyra had left him with. The room is dim, the only light coming from the faint glow of the city outside his window. His mind is a storm of conflicting thoughts. He can feel the weight of the power inside him, gnawing at the edges of his control. The energy that had once been dormant, confined to the deep recesses of his mind, is now rising again, relentless, as though it senses his hesitation. The temptation is there. Zyra's offer promises control, promises mastery over the power that is slowly consuming him. But he knows all too well that power comes with a cost. The last time he had allowed it to take control, he had lost everything, his family, his humanity. The memories of that day still haunt him, and every time the power flares up, those memories threaten to resurface. Yet, in the silence of the room, Adam feels a whisper of something else, a call to action. He could rise above the fear, use the power to destroy those who stand in his way, to free humanity from the shackles that bind it. He could become a legend, a hero in his own right. But at what price? The choice, hours pass, and as the first light of dawn breaks through the horizon, Adam makes up his mind. He can't afford to be weak any longer. The power, whether he wants it or not, is a part of him. And if he doesn't learn how to control it, it will control him. He takes a deep breath, standing tall before the mirror. His reflection stares back at him, a man torn between his corals and the crushing pressure to survive. With a final, resolute sigh, Adam walks out of the room, headed straight for Zyra's private chambers. Zyra's test. When Adam enters the chamber, Zyra is already waiting for him, her expression unreadable. She stands by a large window, her back to him as she looks out over the city. The tension in the room is palpable. She doesn't turn to face him immediately, but when she does, her gaze is sharp, searching for any sign of hesitation in his eyes. You've made your decision, Zyra says, her voice a mixture of relief and anticipation. Good. I'll help you unlock the potential within you, Adam. But first, you must understand something. Adam raises an eyebrow. What do you mean? Zyra steps closer, her eyes glinting in the low light. The power you wield is not something to be taken lightly. It comes with a price. Harnessing it requires more than just strength, it requires the willingness to embrace the darkness within. You cannot control it by fighting it. You must become one with it. Adam's heart skips a beat. He knows exactly what she means. The darkness that has been lurking inside him, the power that once consumed him, is not something that can be controlled through willpower alone. He will have to submit to it, embrace it fully, or risk losing control altogether. I'm ready, Adam says, his voice firm. Teach me how to control it. Zyra smiles, her lips curling into a knowing grin. Good. But before I can begin, you must prove your resolve. You see, this power does not bend to anyone's will easily. If you are to master it, you must first face the most dangerous part of yourself. The trial of power. Zyra leads Adam to a secluded training chamber, a place far removed from the tournament arena. The walls are lined with alien technology, pulsating with an eerie light. In the center of the room is a large stone circle, engraved with ancient symbols. Zyra motions for Adam to stand within the circle. This is where the trial begins, she explains. The power inside you feeds on your fear, your doubt. It thrives in the darkness of your mind. To harness it, you must confront your deepest fears and confront the beast that resides within you. Adam stands still, his heart pounding in his chest. He knows what she's asking. The darkness he's been running from for so long, the force that killed everyone he loved, is going to come to the surface. The thought fills him with dread, but he pushes it down. He can't back out now. Zyra activates the chamber, and the symbols around the circle begin to glow brighter. The air thickens, and Adam feels a strange sensation building inside him, his heartbeat accelerates, his breath quickens. The power within him stirs, rumbles like a sleeping giant awakening. He feels it rising, seeping into his veins, and suddenly the walls around him start to shift, distort, and melt away. His surroundings dissolve, and he finds himself standing in a place he recognizes, a place he's been trying to forget. It's a barren wasteland, the ground cracked and dry, littered with the remains of a once thriving city. The sky is dark, swirling with ominous clouds. In the distance, Adam sees what he's been trying to outrun, the wreckage of his past. Confronting the past, there, standing in front of him, is the image of his former self, a younger version of Adam, bloodied and bruised, holding a small, crying child in his arms. The child's face is pale, terror-stricken, and there is nothing but darkness in the child's eyes. Adam feels his stomach churn as the memory resurfaces. This is the moment everything changed, the moment his power first spiraled out of control. Do you remember this? The younger version of Adam asks, his voice cold and hollow. Do you remember the day you lost everything? The day you let the power inside you destroy the only thing that ever mattered? The words hit Adam like a punch to the gut. His chest tightens, and he tries to look away, but the vision won't fade. He knows what's coming next. The child's eyes widen in horror as the dark energy inside Adam surges, growing out of control. He can hear the screams of his family as they were torn apart by his inability to control the power. He feels the agony of loss, the crushing weight of his failure. No. Adam shouts, his voice breaking. I can't let it happen again. The awakening of power, the younger version of Adam laughs bitterly. You already have, it says. You always will. But this time, Adam doesn't look away. This time, he doesn't give in to the fear. He clenches his fists and steps forward, forcing himself to face the darkness head-on. The power surges inside him, threatening to overtake him, but instead of resisting it, Adam embraces it. He lets the energy fill him, not as a weapon to be used recklessly, but as a part of him, a part he can control. I am not that man anymore, Adam declares, his voice steady and strong. I've learned from my mistakes. I've learned to control it. The dark energy ripples around him, but this time it doesn't consume him. Instead, he channels it, focusing it into a single point of power. The vision of the child begins to dissipate, and the landscape shifts, the darkness retreating as Adam's control over the energy grows stronger. Zyra watches from the edge of the chamber, her eyes narrowed in intense focus. She can sense the change in Adam. The power that had once been volatile and uncontrollable is now flowing through him with precision. He's passing the trial. The return to reality, the chamber fades back into existence, and Adam finds himself standing once again in the center of the circle. His body is trembling, but there's a sense of peace in his mind. The darkness inside him, while still present, no longer holds sway over him. He's taken control. Zyra steps forward, a faint smile playing on her lips. You've done it. You've faced the darkness and come out stronger for it. Adam nods, his breathing steadying. I won't let it control me again. Zyra regards him for a moment, her expression unreadable. Then you are ready. The power is yours to command. But remember, Adam, you must never forget where it comes from. It's always there, waiting for the moment of weakness. Always. Adam's gaze hardens. I'll be ready. Cliffhanger for Part 6, as Adam leaves the chamber, his mind is clear for the first time in years. But as the power within him settles, a new fear emerges, the fear of what might happen when others learn the true extent of his abilities. The tournament is only the beginning. The galaxy is vast, and those who seek to control him will not stop. Adam knows that his battle is far from over. A moment of clarity, Adam stands in the training chamber, the soft hum of alien machinery filling the silence as his breathing steadies. For the first time since he'd arrived on this strange planet, the weight of the darkness inside him feels manageable, like a force he can shape and guide, rather than a beast to be feared. The sensation is almost surreal, as though a veil has been lifted. But even as he savors the moment, there's a gnawing feeling in the pit of his stomach. Zyra's words echo in his mind, the power is always there, waiting for the moment of weakness. He knows she's right. This power, while under control for now, is still dangerous. He can feel its intensity, its raw, unpredictable nature lurking just beneath the surface, ready to resurface if he lets his guard down. Zyra's lessons have been hard and unforgiving. She's taught him to channel the energy, to use it with precision and control, but Adam is aware that he is just scratching the surface. There is so much more to this power, so much more he has yet to uncover. And with it comes a responsibility he's not sure he's ready for. His thoughts are interrupted as the door to the chamber slides open, revealing Zyra standing in the doorway. Her expression is inscrutable, her piercing gaze studying him with a mixture of approval and calculation. You've done well, Adam, she says, her voice smooth but cold. The darkness inside you has been tamed, for now. But do not mistake control for mastery. The real test is yet to come. Adam straightens, his brow furrowing at the implication. What do you mean? Zyra steps closer, her voice lowering to a more conspiratorial tone. The tournament you've been participating in is only a small part of a much larger scheme. The factions you've been fighting for are already planning something far more dangerous, something that will require all of your power. Adam's pulse quickens. He's been so focused on the present, on mastering his abilities, that he hasn't stopped to think about the bigger picture. What are you talking about? There are forces in this galaxy that want to control you, Adam. The ones who have been watching you from the shadows, they know what you're capable of now. And they will stop at nothing to either use you or destroy you. And soon, you will be forced to choose a side. Adam feels the weight of her words settle heavily on his shoulders. He knows the galaxy is full of power-hungry beings, but to be targeted by them, to be seen as a threat, it's something entirely different. Why are you telling me this? Adam asks, his voice low and cautious. What's your role in all of this? Zyra doesn't flinch. I've already chosen my side, Adam. I've been positioning myself within the power structure for years, waiting for the right moment. But there's more at stake here than just politics. There are ancient forces stirring, forces that even I do not fully understand. And I need someone like you, someone with your potential, to help tip the scales. Adam is silent for a moment, his mind racing. He knows Zyra's motivations are not entirely selfless, but he also understands that he cannot face these threats alone. He has learned to control his power, but now he's being thrust into a galaxy on the brink of something far more dangerous than he's ever imagined. I don't care about your politics, Adam says, his voice hardening. I just want to survive. Zyra's lips curl into a thin smile, as if she's been expecting this response. Survival isn't enough anymore, Adam. You've seen what you can do with your power. The real question is, what will you do with it? The rising threat, days pass in a blur as Adam trains relentlessly, his mind focused on perfecting his control over the power inside him. But despite his progress, he can't shake the feeling that something is coming, something far worse than any tournament opponent he's faced. Zyra's warnings become more frequent, each one more dire than the last. She tells him of a coalition of powerful factions, alien warlords, mercenaries, and covert operatives, all with one thing in common: they are hunting Adam. And as his power grows, so does their interest in him. They'll be coming soon, Zyra says one evening, her voice urgent. They'll try to use you or break you. But you must be ready. There is a hidden threat, something far more insidious, that has been manipulating everything from the shadows. Adam's mind is a whirlwind of questions. Who are they? And what do they want with me? I don't know everything, Zyra admits, her tone tinged with frustration. But I do know that they see you as a weapon. And they will do anything to control you. As if on cue, alarms begin to blare throughout the complex, the sharp sound jolting Adam out of his thoughts. Red lights flash overhead, and a loudspeaker crackles to life with an urgent message. Code Red, incoming threat. All personnel report to battle stations immediately. Zyra's eyes narrow. It's happening sooner than I expected. Get ready, Adam. The first attack, Adam follows Zyra to the command center, where the full scale of the threat is revealed. Holographic screens display images of enemy ships entering the system, fast-moving and heavily armed. They're closing in on the station at an alarming rate, their tactics precise, as if they've been preparing for this moment for a long time. They've found us, Zyra mutters under her breath. This is only the beginning. They'll send everything they have to capture you. Adam feels a sense of unease coil in his stomach. He's faced battles before, but this feels different, more personal. The enemy isn't just after the station, they're after him. The sound of heavy footsteps echoes down the hallway as soldiers rush past them, preparing for the coming assault. Zyra stops for a moment, her gaze meeting Adam's. There's a flicker of something in her eyes, something like uncertainty. I'll handle the defense, Adam, she says. But you need to be ready. If they get too close, we'll have no choice but to engage you directly. Adam nods, but a cold sense of dread grips his chest. He can feel the energy inside him stir, as if anticipating the coming chaos. This is the moment he's been training for, but the thought of facing an entire fleet of enemies is overwhelming. The power that has been under his control for so long now feels like a ticking time bomb, waiting to be unleashed. The battle begins. The enemy arrives in full force, a fleet of sleek, warships that drop out of hyperspace in perfect formation. They don't waste time, launching an immediate assault on the station. Explosions rock the outer hull, and the facility shakes violently. Adam moves quickly, his training kicking in as he suits up in battle gear. He feels the weight of his armor, the familiar hum of weapons being locked into place. As he steps into the command center, he can hear the chatter of soldiers, the frantic orders being shouted over the intercom. Zyra stands in front of the holographic display, her hands flying over the controls as she directs the defense forces. "We can't hold them off forever," she says, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "We need you to buy us time, Adam. We need you to fight." Adam steps forward, his resolve hardening. "I'll do what I can." But as he steps toward the battlefield, he feels the power within him surge once again, its presence impossible to ignore. He knows that this fight won't be like the others. This time, he'll have to confront not only the enemy but the darkness inside him that threatens to consume him. Cliffhanger for Part 7, as Adam charges into the fray, his body moving with an otherworldly grace, the power inside him flares to life. He's finally unleashed it completely, but at what cost? The enemy forces are unlike anything he's faced before, and Adam can feel the familiar darkness stirring within him, eager to be set loose. The battle has begun, but Adam's greatest challenge may be controlling the very power that could destroy them all. The battlefield. Adam stands at the edge of the battlefield, the air around him crackling with energy. The enemy ships are closing in fast, their sleek black silhouettes cutting through the smoke and fire of the station's defenses. The ground shakes beneath his boots, explosions erupting in every direction as the station's outer walls crumble under the assault. Adam's heart pounds in his chest, but there is no fear. Only a quiet determination, a focus that seems to sharpen the world around him. He can feel the power inside him rising, the familiar energy swirling in his veins like molten lava. It's almost as if the power knows what's coming, that the battle is its purpose, its reason for existence. The darkness that once consumed him now feels like a tool, something to be wielded, not feared. Zyra's words from earlier echo in his mind, the real question is, what will you do with it? And for the first time since he learned to control it, Adam knows the answer. He steps forward, his body moving with purpose. As he crosses the threshold into the war zone, the ground beneath him cracks. He feels the energy gather around him, pooling in his hands like a storm waiting to break free. The moment of unleashing, a wave of enemy soldiers surges toward him, their weapons raised, but Adam barely notices them. His focus is on something greater, something inside him that has been building since his arrival. With a grunt of effort, he raises his hand, and the power erupts. A blinding light explodes from his palm, a shockwave of energy so intense that it ripples through the air, knocking soldiers and debris alike off their feet. The enemy forces falter, confusion and fear spreading through their ranks. Adam stands at the epicenter of the blast, his eyes glowing with the same fierce energy that now envelopes him. For the first time, he understands the full extent of his abilities. The power flows through him, not like a raging storm, but like a controlled river, unstoppable and undeniable. He charges forward, his movements fluid and precise, each step leaving behind a trail of crackling energy. His enemies fall before him like wheat before a scythe, their weapons useless against the force of his power. Adam's mind is a blur of focus and instinct, his training, his anger, and his desperation all merging into a single driving force. A group of elite mercenaries approaches, heavily armored and wielding plasma rifles. They open fire, but the energy from their weapons shatters against the shield of power that Adam unconsciously projects. He raises his hand, and with a flick of his wrist, the ground beneath the mercenaries' feet erupts, sending them tumbling into the air. One by one, they crash to the ground, incapacitated. The tide turns, Zyra's voice crackles over his communicator, her tone tight with urgency. They're retreating. But this is far from over. They're regrouping. Adam doesn't answer. He's no longer thinking about strategy, no longer concerned with tactics. The power inside him is alive, hungry, urging him onward. It's as though the very act of unleashing his energy has opened something inside him, something vast and infinite. The soldiers who remain seem like ants beneath his power, insignificant in the face of his wrath. As the enemy forces regroup and begin to pull back, Adam stands tall, his chest rising and falling with the intensity of his actions. His body hums with power, every nerve alight with the energy coursing through him. And as his gaze sweeps over the battlefield, a new realization hits him. This power is his. It belongs to him, and he alone can choose how to wield it. But with that realization comes the weight of responsibility. He's not just a weapon in this war. He's a force of nature, a tidal wave that could drown everything in its path if left unchecked. Adam knows that the real challenge is not in defeating the enemy. It's in keeping himself from becoming the very monster that Zyra warned him about. Zyra's intervention. The station is eerily quiet now, the sound of battle fading into the background as the last remnants of the enemy force retreat. Adam stands at the center of the destruction, his chest heaving with exertion. But as the adrenaline begins to wear off, he feels the familiar tug of the darkness inside him. It's no longer a simple tool, it's a part of him, and it wants more. He clenches his fists, trying to suppress the overwhelming urge to release it, to use the power to finish what he started. His heart races, and for a moment, he wonders if he'll be able to stop himself. Suddenly, a soft hand lands on his shoulder, pulling him out of his spiraling thoughts. Adam turns to see Zyra standing behind him, her expression calm, yet filled with a deep understanding. "You did well," she says quietly. "But don't forget that the enemy isn't just outside. The real battle is inside you." Adam's eyes narrow, the words sinking in. He can feel the power within him, threatening to surge once again, and for a moment, he wonders if he'll ever truly be able to control it. "Then teach me," he says, his voice hoarse. "Teach me how to keep it in check." Zyra nods, her gaze never leaving his. "You've learned how to fight with it. Now you must learn how to live with it." The aftermath. As the station's defenses return to a semblance of normalcy, Adam and Zyra walk through the wreckage, surveying the damage. The battle may have been won, but the war is far from over. The enemy may have retreated, but they will return, and next time, they will be more prepared. The galaxy is a vast, dangerous place, and Adam now knows just how deep the darkness runs. But for now, there is peace. The power within him is under control, for the moment, and he's no longer the frightened man he was when he first arrived. He has become something more, a force to be reckoned with. Zyra stops and turns to face him, her expression serious. "You've made your choice, Adam. And there's no turning back now." Adam nods, his gaze steady. "I know. But this time, I'll be ready." The true path ahead. As they stand in the aftermath of the battle, Adam knows that the road ahead will not be easy. His power, while a tool for survival, is also a constant threat. The factions that seek to control him will not rest. And the darkness inside him, while subdued for now, is always waiting for its chance to break free. But Adam is no longer the man who feared that darkness. He is the man who controls it. The galaxy is vast, filled with enemies and unknown dangers, but Adam now understands the truth. He is humanity's weapon, and it is up to him to decide how it will be used. As he looks out over the wreckage of the battlefield, Adam knows that his journey has only just begun. The real war is not against the external forces, but against the ever-present darkness inside him. And he will fight, not just for survival, but for the future of humanity. Final words. The lights of the station flicker as the sun begins to rise over the distant horizon. Adam's silhouette stands tall against the dawn, his power at the ready, his mind clear for the first time in years. The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear, he is no longer just a soldier. He is humanity's protector, and he will stand against the darkness, no matter where it leads him. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting HFY stories. Your support means the world to us. And make sure to tap the bell icon so you never miss an update. Stay tuned for our next adventure, and until then, keep exploring the stars. See you in the next video.